Welcome to the deep dive. So you asked for a classic adventure, maybe with a few twists and turns.
Yeah, and we've got one. Today we're jumping into Enid Blyton's Five on a secret trail.
That's the one. And we've got some key bits from the novel here, focusing on, well, how it all kicks off. George, Anne, Timmy, camping, and things getting a bit weird.
The early stirrings of mystery, you could say, disrupting their quiet getaway.
Exactly. So our mission, if you will, for this deep dive is to really unpack these opening chapters. Like, why does George suddenly take off with Timmy?
Right. And how does Anne get involved in this secret camp?
Yeah, and what about those first hints of something bigger, the noises, that peculiar boy?
And the ruined cottage, definitely. How that all starts setting the scene.
Okay, let's get into it. This whole thing starts because George is just furious.
Absolutely furious. It's all about Timmy, isn't it? That cardboard collar he has to wear after his ear operation.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh.
People were laughing at him.
Not just kids, either. The postman, even her own father finds it funny. And for George, who's so incredibly protective of Timmy,
That's like the ultimate insult. You can just see her simmering.
it really shows her character, though. Her first thought is Timmy's dignity, you know?
Totally. And she doesn't just complain, does she? George takes action.
Proper George style. She's determined. Gotta find a place where no one will mock Timmy.
It's that classic Blyton thing, isn't it? Kids wanting independence, sorting things themselves.
Definitely. So, middle of the night,
Huh?
they sneak off. Tent, supplies. Well, some supplies.
Leaves a note for her mother. Probably very short.
Guaranteed. And off they go, Timmy trotting beside the bike. She's pretty resourceful, you have to admit.
She is. And she even plans for Anne to join. Tells her mom in the note to send Anne to Carter's Lane.
Yeah, like a little secret mission briefing. It sets that adventurous, secretive tone right away.
Shows the trust between them two.
Mm-hmm. So Anne rocks up at Kieran's station.
Expecting George, presumably.
Well, expecting to meet Aunt Fanny first, who then breaks the news about George's disappearing act.
And Anne's reaction to the collar story is interesting. She thinks it's funny.
Yeah, she does, but she gets it. She understands why George is so upset.
That's key, that understanding. They have different reactions,
Yeah.
but they're in sync.
Exactly. Shows that balance. Anne sees the funny side, but respects George's feelings completely.
So she doesn't hesitate, packs her bags, gets the provisions from Aunt Fanny,
Oh, yes, the provisions.
and heads off to Carter's Lane, waiting for adventure.
But when she gets there, no George.
Just hissing from a bush.
Yeah. Bit dramatic, maybe. George is hiding.
Worried her parents might have followed Anne or found out somehow.
Exactly that. Scared they'll drag her back home. That fear of adult interference, it pops up a lot, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. The kids always want to handle things themselves.
So once that's sorted, they find a spot near a spring, which is practical.
George is thinking water, but maybe not so much about food.
Let's call her approach to supplies.
Luckily, Aunt Fanny came through for Anne. Sandwiches, cake, the works.
Good old Aunt Fanny. So you've got the impulsive leader and the more prepared companion.
Classic dynamic. So they set up camp. It's peaceful, lonely.
For about 5 minutes.
Right. Then come the noises. Sharp, metallic sounds. In the distance.
Ooh, yeah. Those little details are great at just, shifting the mood, making you feel a bit uneasy.
Definitely. That feeling that maybe they're not quite alone out there.
And then Timmy, the four-legged detective,
Find the bone.
not just any bone, a cooked bone.
Okay, that's different. That means someone else has definitely been around. Cooked food points to people. Right.
Exactly. Not just animals. So who else is on this common? Are they friendly?
And those metallic noises keep happening. Just adds to the puzzle.
Then they actually meet someone. This boy.
Who's acting?
Well, strangely.
Very strangely.
Oh!
Hissing again, popping up, disappearing. He's immediately marked as suspicious, isn't he?
For sure. It introduces this really peculiar human element into the mix. Makes you wonder what he's up to. He's an instant puzzle. His weird actions, they just create this uncertainty.
He has a dog, Jet.
The one-eyed mongrel. Long, thin tail. Distinctive.
And Timmy. Timmy likes him.
Yeah.
Which is kind of unusual for Timmy sometimes.
That is interesting. Timmy's usually pretty wary of strange dogs, especially on his turf. Maybe Jet's okay.
Could be. Animals often know, don't they? But the boy himself, he's all over the place.
Makes promises, then says he didn't. Says one thing, does another. Really contradictory.
Hard to know what to believe. And he's interested in digging.
Yeah, digging near that ruined cottage.
Okay, so that immediately makes you think. Ding, ding, ding. ruined cottage might be important. Why there?
It ties the strange boy to a specific location, suggests the cottage holds some kind of secret, maybe? Focuses the mystery a bit.
And that cottage quickly becomes central.
Yeah.
Anne takes a walk late at night
Brave Anne.
and sees a light in the window of this supposedly deserted, ruined building.
Whoa. Okay, that's properly spooky. A light just shatters that whole peaceful, empty vibe.
Totally. And then she hears whispering and footsteps inside.
Right. Okay, that's terrifying. I'd be running back too.
She does. Wakes up George completely freaked out.
Understandably.
So they creep back very cautiously with Timmy leading the way.
Building the tension.
And nothing. No light, no sounds, no one there.
Huh. So what happened? Did Anne imagine it? Was it just shadows and wind?
George seems to think so, or pretends to. Says Anne must have dreamt it.
Is that George being practical or maybe just unwilling to face something scary, trying to keep control?
Could be. It does feel like things are getting a bit beyond a simple camping trip now.
For sure. But they can't just ignore the boy, right? His weirdness feels connected.
No, they decide they need to find him again. Maybe get some answers. But he's still just contradictory, all over the place with his promises.
Doesn't really clear anything up, does it? Shows they're invested now, though. They want to figure this out.
And then they find him somewhere else entirely. Just sitting, reading a book.
Get this, a book about archaeology. Seriously. After the digging. That's interesting. And weird. Adds another layer to him.
It really does. Maybe his interest in digging isn't random. Maybe it connects to the cottage's past. A subtle clue, perhaps?
Possibly. Anyway, amidst all this confusion, they find a pool.
Ah, a moment of normality.
A swim. A reminder there's still kids supposed to be having fun camping.
Yeah, nice little break. And it also gives them a reason to head back.
Supplies running low.
Yep, time for a trip back to Kieran Cottage.
So off they go. And I bet Aunt Fanny was surprised to see them.
Oh, definitely. But she has even bigger news.
What's that?
Julian and Dick, they're back from France. Arriving soon.
No way. Okay, that's a game changer. The famous five are going to be reunited.
It really signals things are about to ramp up, doesn't it? More brainpower on the case.
George must have been thrilled.
Absolutely delighted. The whole gang back together.
But when they get back at the campsite, Anne still got that creepy feeling about the cottage.
Can't shake it. George tries to brush it off, but Anne's intuition. It's usually pretty good in these books, isn't it? Foreshadowing, maybe?
Definitely feels like it. That cottage isn't done with them yet.
And then, bang, the weather turns.
Like, really turns. A massive thunderstorm. Violent.
Nowhere to shelter except?
Yep. The ruined cottage. The one place Anne really doesn't want to be.
Talk about dramatic timing. Forces them right into the heart of the mystery.
It makes them feel really vulnerable. Then the lightning flashes.
Oh, yeah. What do they see?
Figures. Outside the cottage. And worse, someone peering in the window at them.
Oh, that's properly chilling. No wonder they're shaken the next morning.
Totally. Anne's had enough. She wants to go home. Properly scared now.
Can't blame her. But then, guess who shows up?
The strange boy.
A strange boy. And Jed. But he's acting different.
How so?
Concerned. Almost normal. Asking if they're okay after the storm. Explaining why he's there, despite promising not to bother them.
Huh. That is confusing. Is the weirdness just an act then? Is he genuinely worried?
Or is it another trick? Because then later, they bump into him again. Back to being weird. Contradictory. You just can't figure him out.
Keeps you completely off balance, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So, yeah, we're at a really interesting point here in 5 on a Secret Trail. George's escape and joining the weird noises, the very peculiar boy, the creepy cottage stuff.
And now Julian and Dick are about to arrive. All the pieces are on the board, you know, ready for the main mystery to unfold.
It really feels like it. Blyton set up all these intriguing threads, the boy, the cottage disturbances, the potential secrets underground, maybe.
And bringing in the rest of the 5 promises, things will pick up speed. New perspectives, new plans.
So, thinking about all that, here's something for our listeners to chew on. What do you actually make of that boy? Is his behavior just odd, or is there something more deliberate going on?
Yeah, and how does that ruined cottage fit into it all? The light, the figures, his digging. What's the connection?
And finally, with Julian and Dick arriving, what difference will they make? What skills do they bring that might crack this whole thing open?
Lots to think about. We'll have to see how the famous 5 tackle the secrets of this common next time.
Looking forward to it. Join us then as we continue our deep dive.